It's not often that you'll see the Ladies Club Lounge looking like the garages and the pit lanes on race day. Hello and a very warm welcome to today's show. My name is Belen Kirtley. Thank you so much for joining us once again as we celebrate women who are owning their space in sport. Today we have a dynamic, barrier-breaking guest, motorcyclist Morongoa Mahope. It's time to get the show underway with an inspiring quote, as we always do. And this one comes from a lady who knows all about action sports. She says, "I hate it when guys say girls can't do things. That is so out of my head now. Actually, that is what pushes me to be better. I just want to show that girls can do anything they want to." This is a quote from X Games champion Fabiola da Silva. Da Silva is a rollerblading legend who competes on the LG Action Sports World Tour. She's received over 50 medals on the World Tour, and she's also got 7 X Games gold medals and 1 silver, making her basically the most decorated female athlete in X Games history. So it's action sports that we're focusing on, and it really makes me think of other women who have broken the bounds of what's perceived to be acceptable for women, like the first woman to win Moto3 World Championship points, Anna Carusco, and Formula motocross racer and a multiple world champion in motocross, Ashley Fiolek, who actually was also deaf. Women can define their own limits, even though it's much more difficult than what they actually make it out to be. You can join in our conversation, share your views on Twitter at sports@SABC. Just use our hashtag the Ladies Club. We're also on Facebook as SABC Sport. The hashtag the Ladies Club. Time now to introduce you to Morongoa Mahope. She's a talented go-getter, a mother, an academic, and a motorcycle racer. What a combo. Welcome to the Ladies Club.
Thank you.
Okay, now, why, with everything going for you, you would decide to put your life on the line on a motorbike, many women would say?
Sure. What an intro. I've always been a motorcycle fanatic. So it started at the age of 30 when I got a bike to commute on the road. And then 3 years later, I went to the track and the bike got me. So I decided I want to race, I want to give it a try. And then I've never looked back ever since. Okay,
but where were you first exposed to motorbike riding?
I've always been a motorcycle fanatic. So it started by sitting on traffic in your car, and then you look at the bike and you're thinking, I should be on that bike one day. And then I decided to actually pursue it, follow my dream. I wanted a bike, and then I got a bike.
Okay.
After a long battle with my husband.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. What was the reaction from hubby when you said, you know what, I can't deal with this traffic anymore, I am going to get me a motorbike?
No, it took some convincing, and then he always tell people that I got him on his weakest. So I've been nagging, I think, in 2 years in a row, saying, okay, can I get a bike? And then he said, no, those things are dangerous. And that's what people always think. Bikes are dangerous. And yeah, I decided to pursue, and then he convinced him, and then he agreed.
And what was the reaction from your family, from your mom and dad?
My family, they thought I was going crazy, like, what, do you want to kill yourself? Think of something else rather than getting a bike. So they were also terrified. And then I said, guys, I got this. Don't worry.
Morongoa, it's many people that get frustrated with traffic. I mean, I've even considered buying a bike, and I've been spoken out of it by my family. So I think that's a story that many women can relate to. But it's not many women that can say they took it a step further to actually start racing. What made you take that step?
I went to a track once just to, get better and to improve the skill, my riding skill. And once I was at the track, I enjoyed it, and then I decided, let me start racing. Let me start taking this serious, and I enjoyed it, and I'm still racing.
Did you come from a sporty background? Did you used to compete a lot in other sports when you were a youngster?
At high school, I was very much involved in sports, but your athletics, your soccer, and nothing motorcycles. So yeah, it was very, very, very different and new to me to get involved in motorcycling.
You've been a commuter for a long time. You've managed to drive for many, many years now. This is something completely different. And most people that have a motorbike when they are 30 years old, they've been youngsters and riding from when they were 5, 6 years old. Your journey was very, very different. Tell us a little bit about those initial steps in actually getting on a bike and what it actually felt like.
To be honest, I never thought I'd get this far. When I started, it was just, okay, commuting. And I was fearless, I guess. And yeah, the first step for me was, if you want to try something, give it your all. So we all have, I want to do something, but you actually don't action it. So I had a dream and I had a passion and I acted on it.
And it's never too late to actually be able to do that. At 30 years old, she decided to get onto a bike, put all fear aside and everything that she was hearing from her hubby and her family. And she decided to get on a bike and actually do what she wanted to do. And boy, has she had success. Just after 3 races in the 250 Ladies Cup this season, in her first season, she's lying 7th on the standings, and she ended 2nd overall in 2017 in the B class after racing. We'll speak a little bit more and get in depth with what she's managed to achieve in a very short time when it comes to motorcycle racing when we return with the Ladies Club. Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with the Ladies Club. We still have Morongoa Mahope with us as we continue to chat about women in motorcycling. And while we have an industry powerhouse in studio, it's also tradition that we highlight other trailblazers who are breaking ground in the sport. And today, because we're speaking about motorsport, our game changer this week is former South African racing driver and one of only a handful of women to have competed in Formula One, Desiree Wilson. Born and bred in the East Rand town of Brakpan, Desiree became the only woman to win, or rather to compete in a Formula One race. So when she competed at Brands Hatch in England back in 1980, that was the year where we had 2 South Africans on the grid, one being the reigning world champion at the time, Jody Scheckter, and Wilson herself. As a result of her achievement, she has a grandstand at Brands Hatch actually named after her. Since 1978, Wilson has been recognized as the most accomplished female racing driver in the world to date. She is one of the only women to have competed in a Formula One and certainly paved the way for so many other ladies to have competed in motorsport. As much as there are ladies series and there are different series that are for women only, I'm sure you still get a couple of eyebrows raised at you when you go to the track.
I agree. I get that all the time, and especially for a black woman. I always get told that they've never seen a black woman riding a superbike. And it's a male-dominated sport, and people are very impressed.
You said that you had no fear in getting on the bike. Did you ever anticipate that you had to have no fear in actually getting into racing? Because you were going into a sport where people have been racing since they were 5, 6 years old. So not only are you breaking barriers for black African women, but you're also breaking barriers and getting involved in the sport at a rather more mature age.
I'm the Motorsport South Africa ambassador, and my job is to, and it's actually my dream, to get people involved, black women and my black brothers, to get involved in the sport and to actually believe in your dream. At my age, if I could start racing at 33, anything is possible.
Just in the 2 years, you've managed to achieve quite a bit. Could you have imagined ending in 2nd position in the B class last season?
I never thought I'll get that far, considering that I had injuries and I was off for almost 2 months. I broke my collarbone, and so for me, I thought maybe it's the end. Maybe more, you're not cut for this, but you know what? I didn't give up. I went back and I got my B class as 2nd.
Injuries are part of the sport, and I suppose in motorsport more so than any other sport you want to actually be picking up. How do you get over that fear and, you know, that I've fallen off once and I've hurt myself really badly, the next time you get on the bike once you've recovered from injury?
I think as an adult, especially me with three girls in the house, I always tell them they mustn't give up. So if something happens, you dust yourself off and then go back if you believe in a passion. And that's what I did last year and the year before, because I've broken my collarbone. I had a plate for 6 months, and I told myself, go for it.
You mentioned your 3 girls. I mentioned that you're also an academic. You have got a degree in accounting from the University of Pretoria. So you are a multifaceted woman. How do you manage all of these different roles?
It's a bit of a challenge, and especially the amount of hours, because I only started at 33. The amount of hours that I have to spend training, it is a lot. Sometimes I don't have a life myself. Sometimes I can't even, do things over the weekend because I need to train. So it is a challenge. And I mean, I'm a full-time mom, wife, and I work. So it's difficult.
What's equally difficult is actually just getting ready to race. Here we're seeing some pictures of you actually getting ready to even just get on the bike to begin with. And this seems like quite a mission. I mean, I thought it was difficult just to pick out a dress and high heels. It's not like this.
It is quite a challenge, especially like the leathers. They're quite heavy and they're hot.
This is really important, though. I mean, because not only that it looks cool, it looks mean, and it goes with the sport, but it's also protective and you need it.
No, you definitely do. It is a very dangerous sport, and you need to gear up and with the right stuff. So you need to protect your body. So that's why we wear helmets, race suits, and racing boots as well.
As she juggles all of these roles as motorcycling racer, as an accountant, and as a mother to 3 girls, maybe it'll be easier if you have one of your girls also involved in the sport. Now, you may be wondering why we've actually got 2 bikes here. We've got Mo's 250 that she races on in the Ladies' Cup, and then we've also got a smaller little bike with a 100cc engine, and this one belongs to an 11-year-old little Tsulu. It is Morongoa's daughter. Hello, Tsulu. You've also come to join us today.
Yes.
Please take a seat with Mom.
Thank you.
So you also ride motorbikes?
Yes.
My word. Did you watch Mom ride and then you thought, I want to do that too?
Yes.
So tell us about the first time that you got on the motorbike. What did it feel like?
I felt very comfortable. I felt like I just also want to join in, and yeah, I really liked it.
Are you excited to get on this bike and race? I know you're going to be getting on this one and racing in July.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think when you watch Mommy racing? When you watch her going fast around the track, what do you think?
I think that she's my inspiration, and I also want to go as fast as her. And I also want to be someone that enjoys riding a bike.
You also want to maybe go faster than Mom?
Yes.
Maybe one day. We're going to continue our conversation with Morongoa as well as her daughter. These are the 2 ladies that are changing the game when it comes to motorcycling for women of colour here in South Africa. It is certainly an inspirational story. You can get involved in the conversation at Sports at SABC. Just use our hashtag The Ladies Club. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. You're watching The Ladies Club. Please join us on Facebook, Twitter, and send us your comments and what you thought about today's program, what you thought about this inspiring woman, Morongoa Mahope, who is hoping to become the first black South African woman to compete in the National Motorcycling Series. She's got her daughter with us, Sulafelo, who is going to be doing her first race in on this 100cc right here in July. You did gymnastics, I understand, for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, why did you decide to stop doing gymnastics and to start doing this sport?
Because I wanted to do something new, and it looked like a very interesting sport, so I just stopped gymnastics for motorsport.
Mo, I mentioned that you and now your daughter are basically paving the way for a whole new sector of South African society to get involved in motorcycling, which is a niche sport to begin with. Who, though, was your inspiration, and what was your inspiration?
I would say a young man, Themba Khumalo. He is racing superbikes. So I followed his journey for a couple of months, and I decided to also start racing.
And have you had other black women come to you and say, you know what, you're an inspiration, I also want to do this now?
Lots. And actually sometimes I feel like crying, like I don't see what I'm doing to the people out there. So I'm inspiring women, and it is actually my dream. And I'm very happy with the fact that I am inspiring people and changing people's lives. I mean, with my daughters as well, what I did, I said, girls, set them down. Which one of you would like to race bikes? And it was their choice. And then they said, the other two said no. And then Sulafelo decided, Mommy, I want to start racing.
Were you nervous, though, because having had your collarbone broken and understanding, you know, the risks of the sport, how did you, you know, quieten those mommy nerves?
I think they were more nervous than me. And I remember the Monday after I broke my collarbone, I was in hospital. And on their way to school, Tulu cried. Tulu cried. And for me, it was either showing that I'm a quitter or, you know what, inspire my girls. I always tell them you can't quit. If you think of quitting, think of Mommy. That crashed, broke a collarbone, and had a plate for a couple of months. I must be honest, that was the uncomfortable thing ever. So I couldn't wait to actually remove it.
My heart is beating very fast just watching these pictures of you riding like that. How do you hang off the side going at such a speed?
It took an adjustment, because when I started, my bike used to go straight, and then I had to now go sideways with the bike. At first, it wasn't easy, because now you're thinking, the first thing that you think is you're going to fall. So it took some years of practice, and I'm still practicing and training to do even better.
And when you say you're training, what is the kind of training that you do?
To get riding better. So bike control, and the thing that you see, me putting my knee down, I couldn't do it, because like I said, I started riding on the road and it was straight. And now I have to learn bike position when you ride and when you race. So it is quite a mission, and training is really helping.
So I actually was wondering why those knee pads had Velcro that was attaching them. Now I understand. How many knee pads do you actually go through in a season?
Sure, I would say in a month you definitely need four sets, because especially the training that I'm doing, you are forced to put your knee down. And my coach, Doran, he did a very brilliant job. I couldn't put my knee down because it was a defensive mode. You're thinking if you put your knee down, you're going to crash. And then we actually had to work hard to get me to be able to do that.
So at the moment, you're competing in not only the B class, but you're also competing in the 250 ladies series, where you're lying 7th after 3 races. How far would you say are you from actually attaining that goal of becoming the first black South African woman to compete in the National Motorcycling Series?
When I started, I thought it was a far-fetched dream, but I actually think in the next couple of months I'll be there. The amount of hours that I'm putting, I am getting my dream sooner than I thought. So next year, January, definitely I'll be racing in the National Series, if not earlier. So we are working hard. I am pushing myself to the limit, and it's a goal, and I want to achieve it.
So how many hours do you then manage to sleep a night?
Sure, hardly. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a life. So weekend, I'm on the track. So every weekend is the same thing. So I do train sometimes during the week before I go to work, and weekends. So I don't sleep at all.
So is there any time for relaxing?
Not at all. Only in December for a couple of days, yes. But during because the seasons they run from January until September, so you have to really push and even start practicing and before Jan. So you don't have actually time for break.
How do you manage to maintain your energy levels? Because with 3 children, with a full-time job, with a racing career where you are chasing goals and you're staying focused and dedicated, you need to have high energy levels.
I always try to go to gym. I think that helps a lot. To start the day with a gym session, it's always good to be energized. So I think that really helps a lot. Otherwise, sometimes I feel like crashing, and because of the amount of hours that I'm in training, that I'm straining my body. But gym session definitely help.
What do you want to do other than racing in the national motorcycling championships? Because that looks like a goal that, like you say, in the next couple of months you're actually going to achieve it. Is there anything else really big that you want to achieve before you maybe stop doing motorcycling?
I think I will be happy if I open a racing academy for young girls and boys, especially blacks, because people out there don't know about the sport. So as an ambassador for Motorsport South Africa, what I'm trying to do is to get people involved, and by doing that, I'm going to open an academy and teach boys and girls to race.
And make sure that they don't get into the sport and start racing only at 33 years old.
Yes.
You're giving Tulu a massive head start, and I believe that that's planted a dream in her head of actually racing overseas.
Yes.
So what is your big dream for motorcycling? Tell us what it is.
I want to race overseas. Yeah.
And hopefully not at my age, at a very young age.
Fabulous. Your words of inspiration as we close up the show, what are they?
I would say follow your dream. If you believe in something, don't stop. Always follow the dream.
Morongoa Mahope and her daughter, Tulufelo, speaking to us all about motorcycling and breaking the glass ceiling when it comes to the sport here in South Africa. It's been wonderful having both of you on the show. We wish you both all the best of luck in your sport.
Thank you for having us.
Until we meet again, remember that greatness is never given, it's always earned. We can continue the conversation on social media, on Twitter, at sports@SABC, at Vale and Kirtley. Just use our hashtag, the Ladies Club. Until next week, God bless. Bye-bye.